Xbox Camp announcement will begin. Please take your seat. The session Xbox Camp announcement will begin. Please take your seat.
One, two, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Can everybody hear me? That's such a dumb question, isn't it? Because if you can't, how will you know to answer? Thank you so much, everyone, for having me. It's my first time in Morocco, and I am so honored and delighted, and I thank you for the hospitality from the Minister of Youth and Culture, the people, the food is incredible. Before we start, I want to take a photo of you all, because it should not just be on me. I want to take a picture of you. So funny faces or whatever you like. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Perfect. Thank you. All right. Do we have my present? There we go. So I'm going to walk you through a program that we run at Microsoft under Xbox. And there will be some information shared during that presentation. And then I'm going to ask a question about some of the information. If you are part of the competition and you say the right answer, you will win this Xbox backpack that I brought with me. Hopefully that will make some of my presentations more interesting. Yeah, there we go. There it is. So my background, I'm originally from Sweden, but I live in the US. I grew up with home computers. That sad face is me. I was grumpy. My mother told me to go outside because the weather was too nice to be inside playing with computers. In 1984, I think. And that is me, I think, in 2 years ago. And I'm still doing the same thing. And now I can decide if I want to go outside or not. Unless my wife tells me that I can't. It's an interesting similarity when I go to regions and countries where the gaming industry is fairly new, because it reminds me so much of how it was in Sweden in the early 90s. There was no gaming industry. So public perception was that games was not a viable career, games was a toy, you should spend your effort to study to become a real programmer or get a real job. And I have to admit that in 1992, when I started my game studio with some friends, I lied to my parents and said I had applied for college, but they lost the papers. And 6 months later, I told them the truth, because I would not lie to my parents. And I don't recommend you do the same. And I told them, well, now I have $10,000, $15,000 on the account. Sorry, I'm not going to college. I'm going to start a games company. And they were very supportive and helpful in my journey. The first game I made up there, real first game you can call it, was called Smash Hit. And during my military service in the Swedish Air Force, I sat up in the air traffic control tower and was coding. My superior let me use that space with my home computer, and the guy below, on the floor below, was working on the weather station. He was a good artist. He made the animations of the tennis players. So that was my first game. It's a top-down tennis game, if you can see that. And it's essentially Pong dressed as a tennis game. And what I learned from there one, when you start in games, try to work with what you have. The first game will unlikely be the big hit, and that will make you all the money and all the fame. So start small and find a game or a niche that you are comfortable with, that you know plenty about, whether you play a lot of chess, play tennis. Pick something that so you don't have both a game to make and a mechanic to learn. So I think that was good for me. I knew tennis. I played tennis all the time. So for me, it was natural. By the way, that is a Ferrari that a friend of mine made for me. After seeing my own game on a full page in a magazine called ST Action, a British home computer magazine, I opened the paper. I was working in a factory, putting on panel and fronts of 210 microwave ovens a day on a line. I was working with 7 other people making microwave ovens. Every day I walked back to this tobacco store where they sold these magazines, and I opened up this page, and it was a full page about my tennis game. It's not a very good one, but they said, if you can't wait for Wimbledon this year, here is a tennis game from Sweden, I think it said. And I could hear the angels sing. I saw the light beam on me and say, this is it. I'm going to become a game developer. And it was such a strong signal to me that this is what I want to do. And I've been so lucky that I can continue to do a career in games now for over 30 years. These 2 pictures, I just find them very heartwarming, not only because we have the laundry hanging here. This is the ironing board. This is Mikael Emtinger. He is the CEO of a game studio in Sweden today. Tord works as a game studio as a VP. Kalle, he also works in games. And Olof, I remember them because we were friends, very close friends. He was 14 years old, and he was a prodigy. He was a genius kid. And I had to ask permission from his parents for him to work with us, because otherwise it would have been child labor, essentially. When we had a release party, he had to go to bed at 9, while the big kids, they can go out and party. So it was incredibly, very kind of a friends group, and that's how we started. We were good, close friends who worked together. And then we grew a little bigger. We managed to rent a space in a basement. We started to develop for console. That's an old Atari Jaguar. It's a console that probably no one knows about. Maybe I will ask a question about it later. We'll see. And this gentleman here is Ulrik Lindahl. Many years later, he started a company called Simplygon. Maybe not many of you know what it is, but it's a company that specializes in optimizing advanced 3D geometry for pretty much all leading video games that you see today. So everyone who started in this kind of mess of friendships eventually continued their careers, and it's a beautiful thing. That guy in the back you can ignore, he's my baby brother. He did some quality testing. So that's really, really from the age of about 15, I didn't work professionally when I was 15, but I was always working on the next game. Till 2004, I was a game developer, developed many games on PC, PlayStation 1, so that's like, tells you how old I am, PlayStation 2, and Sega Dreamcast, if anyone knows that console. Yeah, it's a fantastic console. So 20 years in, I later joined Microsoft just over 17 years ago, where I had this thinking of I have been a game developer, what can I possibly do that could be valuable from what I learned from game development and meeting every publisher, because the only way to publish it or get a game out before Steam, before Apple and Google, was that you had to go to a publisher, like a book author goes to a book publisher. And I pitched games all the time, and it was very exhausting. So I thought, where is the best place for me to be where I can be most helpful? So I thought publishing. I could be the person that I used to meet when I was a game developer, because I had both successes and I had many failures, more failures than successes. So I thought maybe I can be of help to these developers. And this list is just showing the deals that I did for Xbox since I started in 2007. And every deal, I would say, is based on relationship and building a trust with the developer. I think the best example is Minecraft. I'm Swedish. The company Mojang is Swedish. And by just being supportive to them, pay attention to them, I spoke Swedish with them, not English. I translated emails in Swedish to English late at night so my bosses in America could read them. And I really cared for the relationship. It led to us signing Minecraft for Xbox 360 with a long exclusivity period, and that later led us to acquire Mojang in 2014. So for me, business development as game development is all about, you do deals with people, you work with people, you don't work with companies, because people move around and they will remember you. So always kind of try to be positive, honest, and hardworking for others. But these are the games that I worked on during that time. The interesting part that I want to focus on today is Game Camp. I had this incredible privilege of working at a company like Microsoft that has a global presence, that is really trying to combine doing good and doing well. And Game Camp was an idea I had when it was early COVID in the US. We had a political instability, you can call it, in the US. There were large racial problems, and I was essentially laying in bed and thinking, how can I work in games when the world is on fire? And the world is on fire today as well. But Game Camp came out of this with all the privileges that I have, all the learnings of mistakes and successes. What can I do to help people who are not in the gaming industry to get a chance to pursue a career in gaming? So I'm going to talk about that more in detail. So this is the program that we started in 2020. It's called Xbox Game Camp. And here is, in America, you need a one-liner, so we made one. So we believe that every person on the planet, given the chance, given the opportunity to get access, get a mentor, get access to tools, will thrive. And that's what we based the entire program on. We've done a number of programs since 2020. We started in New Orleans in the state of Louisiana in the US. It's one of the poorer states where you also have social challenges, also a racial divide. So we said, let's go in there, and then we invited HBCUs. HBCU is historically black communities and universities, and we went to them and said, we want to give you a chance to learn about game development. So very intentional in going to those areas. And then we broadened ourselves. We went to Korea, we did New Orleans again, and then our journey have continued ever since. This week, Game Camp Asia finished. I think they had all the campers from Game Camp Asia did pitch meetings today to their mentors, and the quality of the games is unbelievable. I have a video of that I want to show you. But that's really the program activation. The best way to explain something, I think, is a video. So instead of me rambling, so I will show you this, and then we'll keep going. So volume. Should we restart it? I'll restart it. You ready? It should be audio. Do you know about Murphy's Law? Yeah. Do you know Billy's Law? That Murphy was an optimist? We try that again? Last try. You have to kind of come up with some cool music and accents. There we go.
At Xbox Game Camp, we believe that extraordinary talent resides everywhere. So we built a program dedicated to empowering a future generation of game creators to realize their potential and join the gaming industry.
No matter where you go on this planet, if you provide the network, the support, and knowledge, everyone thrives.
I can't believe this thing exists.
When I saw Xbox Game Camp, of course I was like, no way. An opportunity to actually work with professionals in the industry was remarkable. So I was like, that's an opportunity that I wouldn't want to miss for anything.
게임 캠프에서의 경험을 간단하게 요약하자면 멋진 멘토님들과의 뜻깊은 만남이라고 할 수 있겠네요.
Game camp means being creative in your own time, within your own terms. And that's the best part about it. That's what I love the most about it.
I've been trying to do game design since I was a freshman in high school. This was the first time I actually got to enjoy the process of making a game. And it really reignited my passion for why I wanted to do what I wanted to do.
That sense of creative freedom is back, that sense that we could do anything.
We're excited to deepen our relationship with game creators around the world and help them reach new audiences and learn from each other and our mentors inside Xbox.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's incredibly satisfying to do this, to go out and just give freely of what we know. We are thousands of employees at Xbox, probably thousands of years of knowledge. And the amazing thing is when we ask people at Xbox, game developers who make Minecraft, who makes Halo, who makes Forza, and ask, do you want to be a mentor for a team of people that never made a game before? Their immediate action is yes. Because for us, working in this industry, it's just, it's kind of can be a little bit like being in a bubble. And I can understand from the outside, if you never worked in games, but you want to get in games, where do you start? It's similar nearly to film. I want to be in movies. I want to make movies. What? There's no phone number to Hollywood. I mean, where do you start? And we want to kind of break down that wall. And we notice that campers enjoy it a lot and benefit from it, but our mentors who are professional game developers, they like it nearly even more because they get to reflect on their privileges, their knowledge is useful in addition to making the games that we all play. And this is and here are the games from Game Camp Asia. I'm just going to let that run. Here is my favorite part of Game Camp. At every camp, I try to be a mentor. This is Catherine. She runs a studio in Baton Rouge in Louisiana called Ghost Garden Games. It's a women-only team, 9 women who started it after Game Camp. And just to kind of, when they come and say, okay, we're working on this game, we have figured out the design, but we don't know about how the menu system should be. They're working on a kind of a whodunit game, a murder story, and you have to figure out who the guilty one is. And then I just email my friends and colleagues at Xbox to say, hey, can you help Catherine? She has these questions. This is Ken Lobb, who is a famous game designer who worked at Nintendo for many years. He was essentially the creative director for GoldenEye on Nintendo 64. Melissa Boone, she used to work in user research. Art Usher, he is a game designer for Minecraft. And then just me down there, the nobody. The purpose of Xbox Game Camp is to go to regions where the industry is young and new and just give it a boost. And you can ask again, why are we doing this? And we said, because we should. We have the privilege of having all access to this knowledge. We should. We need to pay it forward. The format of a game camp is it's always free, it's public, and we make no claims. And what I mean by that is, if you work on a game during game camp, it's yours. We have no copyright. We have no rights to the game. It's your game. If you want to publish on PlayStation, go for it. If you want to do Android, absolutely. We are here only to facilitate and support you. Sometimes we do 2-day conferences, which is a very concentrated, focused effort of presentations and workshops and networking. But the most common one is that the game camp is usually 3 months. And from day one, people apply, they get access to a mentor, and they start working on a game design. And at the end of the 3 months, they either have a video showing the game, they might have a design document, sometimes they have a demo that you can play in Unity or Unreal. It depends, and there's no wrong or right here. It's really just to explore and get kind of a fast but a firm understanding of what it means to work on a game. Every game camper who is part of this gets unlimited access to LinkedIn Learning. We have our own game camp tenant, where we have all the videos from all the lessons that our campers get access to. I mentioned the 300 volunteers, it's growing all the time, and the mentorship as well. This is just quickly about the LinkedIn Learning. So the materials that you watch during game camp, you also get access to afterwards. So you can watch the videos on demand together with your team or on your own. And we cover pretty much, we think we cover all angles pretty much. Everything from just legal about what to negotiate when you have a deal on the table with the publisher, all the way to 3D art, technical art, and so on. Okay. Thank you. That was 5 minutes. Today we have the impact of the program is that we know of about 100 people that got jobs in the game industry in the US. We have games that come out on all the platforms, several games coming out on Xbox. We have the first African-based Minecraft creator that we signed in 2023, Kunta Content, based in Kenya, Nairobi. 15 game studios, again what we know of, and about closing into 2,000 certified campers worldwide. We hope that that number will more than double with what I want to announce here in a second. There are game developers working on Xbox games throughout the continent. We need 10 times more white dots on that map. Our work is not done until then, especially up in the Northwest, right? So in 2023, we did Game Camp Africa. It was a tremendous success. We had about 650 people participating, and it was a 2-day conference because we didn't want to go to such a large, diverse continent and just assume that we knew how it works, because the economies are very different depending on the country. So by going, we went to 4 locations, and they had an online event, and we learned and get to know people. So I'm really excited. This is actually the big reveal. We are doing Xbox Game Camp Africa 2024, and we're going to come here to Morocco to actually have a big, big event for those 2 days, which I'm very excited about. We're also going to be in Nairobi and Johannesburg. And this is the schedule. This is the last time we do a 2-day. Next year it's going to be a full 3-month game camp, and everyone is invited to sign up. If you are a professional game developer, if you are curious, if you don't like games, sign up and see if you like making them. And we're also going to offer mentorship for teams so they can really leverage the knowledge from our game developers across the world. And lastly, I think I'm going to be on time. Please scan this QR code. Tell me if it doesn't work. I hope it does. It should take you to our Xbox homepage, xbox.com/gamecamp. On the 29th of May, we are opening up for registrations. You sign in, you create a little account, and you sign in and you apply. And we would love to see you in person and online for that. We are so excited to be working also with the government of Morocco to really elevate the talent that exists here in this beautiful country. So that is it. Thank you very much. And you can always email us. Oh, sorry, that disappeared. You saw an email there, gamecamp@microsoft.com. Please email us with any questions. I'm around today and tomorrow if you have any questions whatsoever. Was I on time? All right, look at that. Thank you everyone.